It will be lovely.
Okay. So I'm Etzion for Haifa, Israel. Today is the 10th of May, 2025. This session is dedicated to the Independence Day of Israel, which happened during the 15th of May, 1948, after the United Nations resolutions in 29th of November, 1947, the decision to divide the land of Israel, which was called by the British at that time also Palestine, between the two peoples who were living there, the Jews and the Arabs. The Jews agreed at that time for whatever the nations are willing to give them, and all the Arabic nations said no. And when Prime Minister David Ben Gurion decided that they must declare independence, the entire Arabic nation threatened the Jewish governing power at that time. That if they declare independence, they will invade the country and then wipe out. They will finish the extermination of Hitler, as they promised already during the 30s. We'll show it later on, that the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, Hajj Jamil Husseini, already from the 20s, he's a member of the Muslim Brotherhood. They think, according to their conception, Islam has to win all over the planet by force, by the force of the sword. And they give you two options: if you will take it or you take it. If you don't take it, they can decide either to chop off your head or to let you be as a sub-citizen. Because they need the people to work. They couldn't convert the whole world as they understood, but they couldn't just decimate everybody because they need the people to, for the agriculture, for whatever craftsmanship was needed in the Great Empire. We'll deal with this later on. As I have mentioned before, I'll keep on mentioning, you have to remember that I'm always under the strict order of Meherabad, not to get involved with politics. If you enter my Israeli Baba website, meherbabaisrael.com, you can see there the letters from Meherabad, and you can see the lovely photos of money, etc., and many other issues. And of course, a whole page dedicated to the first disciple of Baba in Israel, Keri Ben Shammai. From her, I received first in a room, 1972, in the humble Baba room, I received what I would call Baba realization when I looked at him as if I knew him all the time, or whatever you call it. In 1980, she gave me her library for and I'm since then the custodian of this center of Keri Ben Shammai, with all whatsoever it concluded. And actually, Meir gave me two orders. The first time when I came to Meherabad 79 to take Baba's Darshan, because I didn't understand. Looked to me peculiar, all these people going to chairs and pillows. Just came from the west to the east and have never seen such a thing. Didn't understand. And she came, gave me an order to take Baba's Darshan, and later, a few years later, she sent me a letter. I was told it's quite rare that Meher is sending letters at all, definitely to a male person. But anyway, you can read these letters on my Baba website. And when I came again to Meherabad, end of 82, I always felt uniquely connected with Meherabad a long time before I came to Meherabad. And while we were on Meherabad Sports, a very powerful wave came, gosh, as if it was gushed out from my heart. As it feels to me as if Baba took hold of her and delivered some tremendous wave towards my person. She said something which blew my mind in front of everybody. I don't think it's in the record. I don't want to repeat what she said, even there were witnesses. And what it is, there are many issues Baba said or commented which are not in print. For example, during some of my conversations with Meir, she told me that Baba was very impressed with some military maneuvers of Israel against Egypt during the late 60s, just before he passed away. It's not in the record. And Baba, in the record, Lord Meher, said I have to find a place for the Jewish people or the people of the book. I don't remember exactly what he said, or the wandering people. Why all these people? And there are at least, to my knowledge, 6,000 people somewhere else who don't have independence. Just in India alone, I heard there are 1,000 peoples with 1,000 languages and 1,000 beliefs. Just in India. They don't have, none of them, not just very few, have sovereignty. So why did he care so much about these little people, the people of the book, as I call them? They could settle wherever they could settle, even after this horrendous Holocaust, such Nazi Germany exterminated a third of the Jewish population. Still, hundreds of millions of people suffered during the 20th century under the directives of Sai Baba and Meher Baba. And why did he care so much about this? Anyway, but what it is, if I used to share a musical piece, now what's happening is that I don't know if it's going to work, I'll share it anyway, because the video where you're supposed to check to enhance the video, I don't know if it's going to work this time. I have no idea. All kinds of technicality problems with all these Zoom sessions technicalities. Each time I'm facing another problem. I'll figure it out how to record it to my computer first and then share it direct. I don't know. We'll find a way. Most likely there is. So what it is, I found a piece that Ray Charles played a song before the Prime Minister, the first Prime Minister of Israel, David Ben Gurion, who declared the Independence Day on the 15th of May, 1948, against the threats of entire Arabic world to exterminate this little country. And eventually, the people won against all the odds. And again, since 48 till now, again, all the Arab nations looking for a way to exterminate this little speck of a country, and they keep on failing. So, okay, they don't succeed. Whatever they plot, it fails. They have some successes, they cause serious damages, but the country is surviving against all the odds, which is everybody's saying it's beyond any real understanding. It doesn't make sense. So I would like to share, first I'll share this musical piece of Ray Charles. Again disappeared. It's very strange what's going on with all these things. Just a minute. Let's see if it came now. Here it is. Musical piece by Red Charles, 1972.
It's mute.
You know it? Do you hear something? You know what?
No.
No. Just want to make sure that I'm recording the session. Yes, I do. Okay, it's written there. I thought I forgot to record it again. So did you hear the music?
No.
You didn't hear it at all? Okay, so we cannot share it. I don't know what's going on with all this. I'll try it again. I had to share the sound. At least you'll hear the sound. I'll do it again. And tell me if you hear it.
Yes.
Heaven help the child who never had a home. Heaven help the man who gave that child a gun. Heaven help the people with their backs against the wall. Heaven help us all. Heaven help the black man who struggles one more day. Heaven help the white man if he turns his back away. Heaven help the man who kicks the man who had to fall. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us, Lord. Hear our call when we fall. That's the best I can play. You heard it. All right?
Did you see also anything or only heard something?
Both perfect.
Oh, oh wonderful. I didn't know this. So what happened? During 1964, Kira Ben Shammai, who was the first Baba lover in Israel, she met Baba in New York, 1956, in the reception at Delmonico Hotel. In 64, she met in 56, 64. She published this little booklet, Meherabad says, a few discourses. Her husband was a master of the Hebrew language. I met him and shared with him during the 70s when I came there. So what happened here was very enthusiastic about Baba. She couldn't understand why the world doesn't come running to the beloved. she sent this booklet to David Ben Gurion, first Prime Minister of Israel, and he sent her a reply, have it in my archive. To prepare this response, never mind. He acknowledged the receipt of the book. He knew her husband, her father. Her father was the first president of Orthodox Judaism, as if Carrie was the daughter of the Jewish Pope, something like this. And she became in a very almost fanatic power lover. I shared many years with her, from 72 till her passing, and she didn't understand why people they don't get it. I also don't understand it, but in my training, I don't care. It's none of my business. I don't know how to give people a Baba realization or experiences. Either he gives it to you or not. If he doesn't, he doesn't. For example, after quite a few years of loneliness or desolation, a few people came who heard about Meherabad. Altogether, I understood in the early 2000s when I was in the reception in Meherabad that about 100 people came from Israel to visit Meherabad over the years. And today I have no communication with almost no one. Even now it's 12:30 more or less in the morning in Israel, nobody coming to share, and I stopped inviting people to share. I said, oh, each one is doing his own thing. Last time we met with a few people was before the Corona. After that, I don't want to meet, even not during Zoom meetings, even not nothing. Fine. I don't care. It's none of my business. Some people do care, like our Michal Sivan, she's very much so concerned. I know it's none of my business. I just do what I do. Baba showed me how to deal with some scars. For 56, 4 years after I came to him, why I started to do it is presumably due to the way of, etc., my resignation, my surrenderance, etc., and my attitude, possible. Your master is not telling you that he is taking care of things because he is happy with this and that you did or not. It's not working like this. Until now, I have no idea if what I have been doing has any spiritual value or not. And I actually don't care. We're not some class that we get to some kind of piece of paper with some kind of matriculation. You achieve this level, for you move to the next stage. This is not working yet. Not a spiritual training class. It's not working like this. You never know where you are. That's the game. Anyway, due to the fact he gave me special personal tutoring, dealing with some scars, till for 15 years daily. I suspect many of you had Baba experiences, so you might know what I'm talking about. And from 1991 onwards, his presence was receding. Maybe I became more and more qualified in this art of eliminating some scars, which is basically giving it to him, but it's not only this. It took me many years to deal with one particular sanskar till eventually it was working pretty fast, and eventually, presumably within myself, was established some mechanism of chewing sanskars without my understanding, being aware of it. But when I become to awareness, I know that it's working. Some kind of inward mental mechanism, bringing all the time sanskars to the Lord. I have to give it to him and ask him one day, well, I have to give it to you. You're everywhere, you're in everything. And for a change, he received an answer. cannot help anyone unless they surrender to me. If I had people intervene with their personal sanskaras before they surrender to me, I violate the sacred principle of free will, which also is an illusion within illusion, but that's his game. He would let you be for billions and billions of years. You will all in ignorance and suffer till you decide to resign to him. Then he will take care of you. That's the way it goes. And he told me this: since you surrender to me to a certain degree, whatsoever sanskaras you bring me from all your associations from the beginning of time, then I can take care of them. Understand what it is? I'm working as a proxy. Later on, it was explained by an insight that this work of giving this sanskar to him is the highest service in the universe. It's advanced souls and perfect master. This is their duty. And I'm neither. I'm not an advanced soul. I'm not a perfect master. I'm just a guy like everybody else, meaning that everybody can do it. If I would be some sort of advanced soul or perfect, simply, why I'm not this? Because I don't have any idea whatsoever about you, for example. I don't know the karma of him. I don't care either. I care only for this. So we can share the work of the perfect masters and advanced souls in healing humanity. So what he's also been doing, taking the sanskar of both sides, the so-called Israelis, so-called Arabs, and bring it to him. Otherwise, he cannot deal with this. Those years, each time, for example, would go to Meherabad, they would almost always being harassed by the people who call themselves Baba lovers. So, here, the mean Israeli came, was eating Palestinians for breakfast and all this ridiculous nonsense. And since I came to Meherabad, I think let's say 90s, midnight, I came to first time Meherabad was 79, by the order of Keri Ben Shammai. But frequently I started to come there almost every year since 94 till a few years ago. I think 8 years ago, since I'm not going to Meherabad anymore, I feel the urge to go there for whatever reason. Each time I would go, almost always somebody would come and ask my person, and they would tolerate it. I didn't care. It goes over my head. You can say whatever you want. I don't care. It's not my business. If you're ignorant, you're ignorant. So, also I'm thankful. Baba said, whosoever offends you or attacks you, takes your sanskaras away. So you're more welcome. Take all these sanskaras away. Good for you. For me, at least. I don't know. I don't care. Hope not. Because each time I would go to the samadhi, I felt all this load of sanskaras I was collecting in Israel would vanish within a few minutes, 10, 15 minutes. My head would become clear again. Each time I would go to Meherabad. Maybe eventually over the years, I learned how to empty all this load of sanskaras without going to Meherabad. But definitely samadhi, and there's some of Baba's sites, like Meher Center, they do work, as I call it, sanskaric laundromats. Better take advantage of it as long as it is functioning. Because one day, presumably, the energies Baba placed in these places would evaporate. That's the nature of things. Okay, I want to share a few more things. How do you say it as I say it? This is a piece. Is from the Dead Sea Scrolls. Just a minute. This is a document from 2,200 years ago. It was discovered in Qumran caves the northern, along the Dead Sea, one of the deadliest deserts on earth, just 20, 30 minutes drive from Jerusalem. And after all these years, I can read it. I don't think I can read English or French from 2000 years ago, if these languages existed at all like today. And here, this is Psalm 133, and I can read you Shir HaMa'alot LeDavid, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. There is a song, sing it. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. I'm not a great singer, but at least I tried. שבת אחים גם יחד, משמן הטוב על הראש, יורד על הזקן, זקן אהרון, שיורד על פי מידותיו, כטל ארמון, כטל חרמון, זה מאונטן חרמון, שיורד על הר ציון, כי שם ציווה. Now this is the name of the Lord, Yahweh. They put it in ancient Hebrew because already forbidden at that time to say or write the name of the Lord in square letters. And these square letters, this is the ancient Phoenician alphabet, less sacred. And this is decided at that time already. This is sacred square Assyrian letters. And according to the sages, the Torah was given in square letters and not in ancient Hebrew. This ancient, we used to use these glyphs. These discuss destruction of the temple after the 70 AD. Tziva Yahweh et habracha. We don't know how to pronounce it because, as you can see, Hebrew has no vowels, so we really don't know. Et habracha ad olam shalom al Israel. So in the original, it's not the ending. The ending it will live forever. So this is the more original text. It's not like today. Let's see what else I would like to share with you. I'll share this. You can see the psalm in English. That's what's written there. There's some variations. We think or hope that our current text of the Torah, the Hebrew Bible, is accurate like before. There are variations. Here, instead of this, even like forever, it's written living for eternity. Okay. Now I'll go back, continue reading the book of Genesis. And according to my humble understanding, and after that we'll continue dealing a little bit with the Middle East conflict in a healing way. You know, I'm always, my duty is to handle both sides equally, bring it to one day, hopefully, people are willing, they'll get off all these. The problems, of course, with the Israelis, but the 99% of responsibility lies on the so-called Muslim Arabic world. It's Arabic world, it's not Islam. It's a violated Islam already 200 years of Torah. I'm not going to get into it. It's a long story. I study it a lot, but I'm not a Muslim scholar, and this is not our problem. But as Bible lovers, it might be interesting for us, how come the teachings of the beloved are being so falsified over the years? Like Christianity with the Jews, it was not falsified, it was not fulfilled. That was the point. The teachings were never falsified. The people never took the word of the Lord and they wrote it as they pleased. They never did this. They wrote their own sins, the sins of the forefathers, all the warnings of the prophets are all there. They didn't change anything. The sin of the golden calf, if I would be a normal human being, if I would be a sage, I want to protect my people, who would remove it from the record? Who would know? 3,000 years ago, that such a crazy thing happened that Master Moses went all the way up to Mount Sinai, was sitting with the avatar and writing the manuscript, the blueprint of healing the nations. And down there, the people were having an orgy. That's what they did. They decide Moses is not coming back. They make a golden calf. They start to dance around it, start to eat, drink, and fornicate in front of this statue while Moses was on the mount. So he came down and broke the tablet, supposedly. But when we'll get to these episodes, we'll deal with this maybe in a more... there are deep spiritual insights are buried amidst this incident. It is not as plain as it is, and the people who kept these scrolls sacred without changing anything, they knew the spiritual meaning behind the words, which not always you understand. If you read it literally, then you don't understand. And you can understand it, then understand it only under the spiritual guidance of the avatar. And when I was in Meherabad, 2006, I got the first glimpse, the first verse of Bereshit, of the Genesis, which is not in the beginning. It is the first word. I saw it as if in a vision that is the big spiritual Big Bang, the oneness was being shattered to manyness. That's the whole point of creation. Why this happened? It's a mystery of creation. And eventually we are bound to solve it. In order to solve it, we have to traverse all the path. So we'll read a little bit of Genesis, which is being dedicated for all this story. Again, it disappeared. Amazing. Just a minute. Let me see if it will come again. There it is. It has its own tricks, these computers. These are machines, so stupid. Now what it is, Abraham came to earth, the avatar, and he started to establish a spiritual family on earth in order to reconstruct what they called the paradise on earth, the Garden of Eden, as we know it or heard about it. We decided, what happens that we decided that we are clever. We ate from the tree, the forbidden tree of good and evil. Then you can see all of humans that cannot stop judging good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. You don't know what is good and bad. I don't know what is good and bad. As soon as we started to do this, we broke the spiritual paradise. All of us, I think, all of the humanity, we all fell under. They actually fell to the mineral kingdom. We are worshiping in the mineral kingdom. This is what happened. Having a success on earth, a physical success, and having a sex of minerals like gold and silver in our basement is a success. And then we die and everything goes away. As Bill Gates just mentions that I'm not going to get out of it with all my money. and I'm going to donate $200 billion to the poor. Maybe he thinks that thus he will gain himself some little corner in paradise, start to smell the end of his sojourn on earth, most likely. This sometimes happens to these people. After he mostly gave $1 billion to one of his, never mind, I don't care, I'm joking. There's no significance whatsoever all this. I continue this. Now the grandson of Abraham was Jacob. His real name was Yaakov. For whatever reason, the people who translated it like we call Jesus. It should be written like this. Make it a little bit better. Read it Yaakov. Yaakov is to follow. Also, Yaakov means not straight. That's the meaning of the word of Yaakov. Now, the whole big deal here is this chapters 32, 33. As we know, Yaakov became Israel. Israel is a God name. Now, here, the Torah is teaching us in Exodus the movement of the soul from the sixth plane to the seventh plane, and we are going to study how Yaakov became Israel. That's a big deal. That's the first time. Book of Genesis, as I was understood, is actually the first version of the divine theme by the Avatar, as he was walking together with Master Moses. When they got together at that time, or whatever you call it, it doesn't matter. You're sitting on the top of Mount Sinai or on the top of the spiritual planes. It's immaterial in this world. And Yaakov sent messengers before him to Esav. His real name Esav. They kept on changing it for I don't know what. His brother unto the land of Seir. The field of Edom is the southern part of the kingdom of Jordan today, between the Dead Sea and the Aqaba Strait. And he commanded them, saying, thus shall ye say unto my lord Esau. And what happened, I had to tell you before, I don't know if you remember it, that there was a battle, there were twins, Yaakov and Esav, in the womb of their mother Rivka, which you call Rebecca. And this symbolizes an ancient battle between Cain and Hevel, the two brothers, the first two sons of Adam. The Cain envied Hevel that his offering was accepted to the Lord and his offering was not accepted, and he murdered Hevel. And this is a symbolism that the spiritual man within each of us is murdering the physical man, Cain, I see, hard, murdered the spiritual aspect. There are two aspects within us, the spiritual aspect and the physical aspect. And eventually they have to merge and blend like one. But what it is, this is a game of this physical plane. We are under it's at the spiritual school of the cosmos. In the school of the cosmos, the cosmic school, and you have to make decisions and make choices all the time. We come to a crossroad, we have to decide if you go to the right or to the left, how the car is going, where the focus of our consciousness is. If your focus is on the divine beloved, eventually you'll get to the divine beloved. If you focus on sacks of gold, then you go under the minerals. Simple as that. So this is what happened. We decided that to have plenty of sacks of gold in our basement is a goal of life on earth. But what happened when you pass away? What are you doing with all these sacks? You cannot take it with you. Give it to your son, so eventually the looters will come and they grab them and the looters will vanish. And that's the way it goes in this stupid world all the way along. Nobody have ever understood this simple thing. But whatsoever is that you consciousness, your focus of consciousness will take you to the goal. And you focus on minerals and you go back on the journey. So Jacob, after many years of exile from his homeland, Canaan at that time, is returning by God's commandment back to the land, the promised land. It was called Canaan at that time, not Palestine. I never call it Palestine. It doesn't matter again. Have nothing to do with all this childish human conflicts. Little children playing with whose this glass ball belongs to me. Nothing belongs to anyone. So Yaakov supposedly deceived his brother Esau and stole the birthright from him, and with a blessing. And in Hebrew, a blessing and birthright are being derived from the same root, Barach, Bet Rav Chav, BRCH, sort of, and the bracha, which is a blessing. Actually, what's the whole point of all these blessings in the Bible? It is your initiation to the circle of Yahweh Elohim. We spoke about this in the very beginning. It's very important to understand the role of this being, mysterious being, that we are not supposed to say its name because I don't know if I'm saying it properly, but from where I don't mind saying it because I love him. I don't know who there is to be afraid of the Lord. He is a divine beloved. He is my best friend. So, I don't know if I pronounce this name properly because we don't know. So Esau, his brother, that Jacob stole. Jacob was a spiritual heir, and his father didn't know it because he was blind, also spiritually. His father, Isaac or Yitzchak, is the one that Lord Abraham was about to slaughter on the mount where the Temple Mount is, with Al-Aqsa and the Golden Mosque, the Temple of Solomon. He was supposed to sacrifice his only son to the Lord, which I explained it before. I'm not going to get into it again. So Esau is coming with a big army of 400 men to get even with Jacob. He wanted to kill him at that time. Thus says thy servant Jacob. You see how he humiliated himself. I have sojourned with Laban and stayed until now. Laban was the brother of his mother Rebecca. Rebecca's the mother of Jacob and Esau. And stayed until now, and I have oxen and asses and flocks and men servants and maid servants, and have sent to tell my Lord that I may find favor in thy sight. And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, we came to thy brother Esau, he, and moreover, he cometh to meet thee, and 400 men with him. Wow, it's a whole it's a battalion of men, armed. He was a billionaire. He inherited the inheritance, the rich inheritance of his father and his grandfather. Abraham was a billionaire those days. He had caravans of gold and silver. He had no problem paying. He paid for the cave where he was buried. We estimate about 1/2 ton of silver. Just imagine how many camels brought it. Each camels can carry maybe 50, 100 kilos, or maybe more, I don't know, a whole caravan of them. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and was distressed. And he divides the people that was with him and the flocks, and the herds, camels, etc., etc. But what is before that, God commanded him to go back to the land of, back to the homeland, and I'll be watching after you. So why is he afraid? And we see it all the time. Even Moses, who saw God face to face, not always sure what God is saying. So he's making preparations. What's if it's going to be a war between him and his brother, who came with 400 men, etc. And some of them made peace when actually Esau came and saw his brother. His heart melted, and he ran to him and hugged him and kissed him. They made peace, and Esau said, "Please come and abide with me in my land in Seir, which is today Transjordan, because I became a big nation supposedly over the years." He was a powerful man. He was a physical man. He was a physical man, a kind state. It's all okay. You have to protect the spiritual man. That is the role of the people. As I said before, the role of Ishmael, the Arabs, to protect the people of the books, the Israel. Ishmael is listening to the God man, and Israel is the God man. It's not the case today. It's not the case. That the Arabs are not Ishmael, and the Israelis are not Israel. Israel is so-called. They don't understand the meaning of Israel. Even some do. This is the God man. We are the God man. It's supposed to present God on earth. It's part of the conflict, and we'll talk about this later on. And many saw that he prevailed. Now what it is, that before crossing the Jordan, there is a valley. And now this story explains quite accurately what Baba explained in God's specs, how the sixth plane master moves to the seventh plane. There is a valley which is difficult to cross, and there are opposing forces, and it is just as if you're just a hair from your goal, which is the promised land in Hebrew is actually represents the seventh plane of consciousness. So what the story is later on, the children of Israel moving from Egypt back to the promised land, this is the movement on the path. It tells all these adventures, stories, how you moved on the path of involution till you reach the seventh plane. Seventh plane is being represented by what we call the land of Israel. And you don't want to get to the land of the Philistines. You definitely don't want to go there. Won't take you to the goal. This is the seventh plane. This is far, far down. Don't want to share. It's like going back to Egypt. It's just the same. You don't want to go there. So all these names that the Arabs took themselves, I said, no, I don't have a sense about this. I think, forget it. I'm not judging anyone. You have to understand it. I'm just, while I'm sharing, dealing with these things, I take this scars both sides, automatically give it to the Lord. You have to understand that what I'm doing now consistently, this is work I've been doing. I'm just sharing the work which I've been doing all the time, taking these scars both sides, bringing to the Lord so He can deal with this. That's why I'm doing. Whatsoever I'm saying, whatever I'm sharing with you, is part of my constant work with the Lord. I give it to Him these scars. You have to learn to do this. And if you don't know how to do it, not willing to do it, don't do anything. As Baba said in his discourses, his wonderful discourses on the scars, what is the first order of things? Don't do anything. Don't do anything. I'll take off everything. Just don't do anything. This he has been saying since Krishna and since also when Lord Yehoshua came. You falsely call him Jesus. I don't know. Presumably the Y you changed to G because Yeshua sounds to them like Zeus. So they call they need a new God. So they call him Jesus because it sounds like Zeus. I think I never heard it, but it makes sense because they were looking for new gods. They made the humble rabbi from Nazareth to the new god to rule the Roman Empire. What has to do with this? I don't know. never mind. So when he was about to cross the river of Jordan to the Holy Land, everybody was crossing already, and he remained alone in the back to make sure everybody is crossing. Then his turn came. Then somebody stood in between, and person came and didn't allow him to cross. Now, Jacob was very powerful man. It is very possible that if his brother Esau would start a war with him, that Jacob would defeat him, even single-handedly. When he came the first time, many years before that, to the household of his where his mother came, so the shepherds came, and they couldn't move the stone, which weighed maybe half a ton. And Jacob just pushed the stone and opened it. He could lift hundreds of kilos. He was very powerful, even he was a spiritual person. But he didn't want to, he was doing his utmost to make peace, even to reduce himself and humiliate himself and not to start a war and to make peace. He's willing to do everything in this order, definitely not to get involved with war with his real brother, flesh brother. So this person he was fighting with him couldn't defeat Jacob. This person didn't allow him to cross the Jordan River. And then the sun was about to break, and this man said to him, "Let me go, for the day breaketh." And he said, "I will not let you go, except thou bless me." And he said unto him, "What is thy name?" And he said, "Jacob." And he said, "Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For thou hast striven with God and with men, and hast prevailed." And Jacob asked him and said, "Tell me, I pray thee, thy name." And he said, "Wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name?" And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. So he realized that he was wrestling with angel of God, or whatever it is, some being. From the deity, Peniel is the face of God. There's a panim, this is face. Panim in Hebrew. El is God, we know, Elohim, El, in singular, the face of the God, Lord. So he saw, first time in his life, he had visions all the time. But the first time he came to see the angel of God, the emissary of God. He didn't see God directly. We don't want to get into it. It's a long story. Let me see if I want to continue sharing the story. Okay, I have a few paragraphs I wanted to read for you, then I will share a little bit more. The terrible responsibility for the restoration of the human race rests on the shoulders of one man who constantly faces hostile forces without any human help. The Creator commands him to return to Canaan, but he knows that this is where his brother Esau resides and wants to kill him. Although he often experiences divine guidance and providence, he doesn't rely on it too much and takes various actions to establish a correct relationship with his brother. Jacob takes a series of steps to minimize the damage should it occur and makes a supreme effort to appease his brother's wrath. He sends many gifts to his brother, been bowing before him 7 times, all to prevent war. His brother Esau turns on him at the sight of his brother's generosity and meekness and embraces him lovingly. After a long time, Hevel, Cain, a spiritual man, managed to change Cain's heart. You remember Cain and Hevel, or we call it Abel, the 2 sons of the first Adam. Cain murdered Hevel, and I explained to you before. That's actually a metaphor of our internal battle ever since. So we need to win internally. The spiritual man has to win over the material man and keep on our focus on the divine beloved. But it happened from a position of disadvantage, for lack of choice. However, Jacob displays wisdom, doesn't sit of his righteousness. He is the one who actually deserves the birthright and achieves his goal. That's what he said. The person who deserves to enter the spiritual circle of Yahweh Elohim. We spoke about this extensively in the beginning of these sessions. And everything is being recorded. So you wish you have to go on the list. And if you don't know how to find it, I can send you, keep on track of all these things. I can send you, if somebody is interested, I can send you the links to these sessions. Not just 30, now this is 33 thing, 33 hours. It's not bad. You can listen to it once a day, once a week. Nothing harm will cause you. During the many years that Jacob was consumed in the heat and cold of the desert, throughout an agonizing walk, many profound changes in his personality took place. He mainly learned how to transform the darkness of consciousness into its light, but embrace his hateful brother with love and melt his enmity through inner work. So by the time they met again, his mission was almost complete. Jacob met Esau in the process of rehabilitating humanity, even if Esau is not aware of it. Esau, his family are supposed to protect Jacob and his family. So in his army. Jacob learned, he studied the art of transforming sanskars. It's actually what happens. That's the only way to understand. I'm saying from my personal understanding. What I'm telling you, what I understood about the work of this destroying sanskars. And Jacob was a sixth plane master. Do you know how to destroy sanskars? That's these are basics. Of course, Esau didn't know it, but Jacob did. Jacob learned the art of transforming negative energies into positive energies from his great-grandfather, who practiced this all his life. There's no point in confronting the demons, the forces hostile to the people of heaven, who are supposed to restore humanity. These demons must be transformed into angels. Apparently, Isaac didn't understand this for all sorts of reasons, so he preferred Esau. That was a problem of the son of Abraham, that he didn't know how to continue the spiritual lineage. So his wife, Rebecca, had the vision. That's why she told Jacob, go and cheat your father and get the blessing, because you are the one to represent humanity on the spiritual path. And if Esau would receive the blessing, the authority to continue the lineage of rehabilitating humanity to spirituality, if Esau would get the blessing, it wouldn't be. It would be the end of the creation of humanity. Everything was the head of one man. And they say that Jacob was a cheat and his mother told him to lie and all this. But if I have to cheat and lie to save your life, that's what I have to do. It's not cheating and lying. If you need to do something which is extraordinary and crucial, and you have to take any measure, then you put only this so-called morality aside. In fact, Esau did not meet Jacob, but Israel, the man of God, even though Jacob was officially transformed into Israel only later. But this whole elevated state of spirit was clearly ripe in his soul. So we'll stop here till next week also. Okay. We still have some time, if you don't mind. I can keep on sharing a little bit. Okay. It's Independence Day. We spoke about the role of Israel, and now we want to deal with this so-called conflict between these so-called Jews, so-called Arabs, in this little corner of the earth. Let's look at the Rashati in the before, maybe last year, many weeks. Now look at this map. In green is the Islamic world. Look at this, from the Atlantic, from Morocco till Indonesia and Malaysia. From here, look at this, all across the world. Look at this, all this green, Islam, supposedly. You see there is a little red dot. Look at this, it's the very heart, it's the very eye of Islam. Meherabad decided to place the Jewish people back into the homeland. That's Baba's decision. But many of us who call themselves Baba lovers don't agree. Now it is so small that there's no place to write. You cannot write Israel, you can write Egypt inside, and Libya here, but Israel you have to write on the Mediterranean. It's too small. And this little speck, 0.5% of the Middle East, all these churches, Arabs lived legally. This regime, this homeland of the Arabs was given to them by the Lord, this peninsula of Arabia, what it took today Saudi Arabia, because of the king of the Arab, one of these, never mind, there's all this internal politics between the Arabs. This Arabia. And the God, the Lord himself, told Abraham the borders of Israel, according to his decision. He drew the borders from the river of Egypt till the Euphrates, from here to here. This should be the promised land, all this section, what I'm showing you. Maybe even bigger, maybe from here. All these spirits about it. Doesn't matter. As I said before, landed. All these borders which you see, all of them are wrong. We have no right to make any borders. We came to serve the mother and not to take advantage of her. It's a long big story. We're dealing with this from the early 20s in the Arabic nation. This is one of the first president of Israel, Chaim Weizmann, meeting with the Saudi prince, Amir Faisal, during 1918, discussing with the Jewish Zionists dealing Arabic leaders to find the modus operandi. I sent to the people here this article which I wrote. This person, you see this person, and this is Adolf Hitler. This is 1943, February 1943, if I'm not wrong. This person was the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, spiritual authority of Islam in the Holy Land, in Palestine, as they call it at that time. And he was a part of the Muslim Brotherhood, which doesn't accept any possibility of any other nation for sovereignty if they're not Muslims. And I showed you the map. From Morocco till Indonesia, there is no one single country with sovereignty as a United Nations member which is not Muslim. Not allowed. It defiles God. That's what they made up. What has to do with the Prophet Muhammad, I have no idea about these nations and who will rule whom. Anyway, He started to instigate the people. He didn't say, if this person would say that we all brothers and sisters under the flag of God, and the only condition is that you have to be righteous people, say yes is yes and no is no, and not so. And if you believe this way or that way, it's your personal business. Then the Middle East today would be the strongest part on earth. There's no question about this. With the resources and capabilities of the people of the both sides, they just made see how Israel is, in spite of all the odds, it's so successful. It's stronger. The economy, the Israeli economy, which is about 8 or 10 million, is stronger than the economy of Egypt, which is around 10 million. You can check the statistics. So here, the head of Islam in the promised land, convening with Hitler, how to finish the extermination of Jewish people also in Palestine. That's why he went there, and he participated in the Holocaust, this person. And what it is, these are facts. It's not I'm saying inventing. This is he's being today being called the father of Palestine. If you study the books of the Palestinian Authority, he's the father of Palestine. Before Yasser Arafat, which was a political leader of the PLO in the 60s. And he was Egyptian anyway, Mr. Arafat. Oh, that's another different story, doesn't matter. So these are all sad stories, and this is the root cause of all this destruction. Because to my humble understanding, as much as I've made research, and I most likely can imagine that I have read many books and I listened to endless YouTube sessions, pro and cons about this situation. Now the Arabs in the land say we want to free Palestine, but nobody occupies it. Nobody started the war against the Israelis in 1947, agreed for any settlement. Arabs didn't agree, started the war of extermination. So people defend themselves. Of course, when the war starts, the bad things happen. So between 500,000 to 700,000 Arabs had to leave Israel. Some left willingly, some had to run away. And at the same time, about 1 million Jews were deported from the Arabic countries. They were thrown away. They were living there for many years. In Iraq, more than 2,000 years. Also in Egypt, for more than 1,000 years. From Morocco till Iraq. No, most of the Jews were requested to leave, and all the possessions were confiscated, to my knowledge, 5 times more than the size of the land of Israel. So let's say we made an exchange. So they're not willing to make any deal, so they have to pay compensation to the state of Israel and to the people to give them back the possessions by law. They don't do it. What are they complaining about others? I'm talking about even in a physical jurisdiction when you go to court. The crimes of the Arabs are 100 times bigger than the crimes of the Israelis, supposedly. And all the attempts of Israel to, these are insignia, this is the logo of the Muslim Brotherhood, you see. That's where will bring you love, the love of God. You see it? That's what it is. Be loving to God. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Sometimes I can read it a little bit. Sister, if we can read it, doesn't matter. Okay, it's a long, it's just 12 pages. Don't need to read the whole book. I made it, try to make it as concise as possible, all this history. But I'm not going to, first I shared all this thoroughly in the past. So So this we now have a serious conflict with the Hamas people, and the truth is we complain about the kinds of atrocities are being perpetrated by the Israeli army in the Gaza Strip. These people who call themselves Hamas people don't care whatsoever about it. They want as many casualties of their own people to smear the state of Israel, so Israel will not be able to act militarily against them. Spend billions in building underground cities. The aim is to destroy Israel. How can, what is normal state if Mexico will build a whole infrastructure to destroy United States? What are you going to do with this? Supplying them food and electricity? What we have been doing all along is supplying the Hamas with food, water, and electricity so they can continue killing people of Israel. Any other normal country in this world would go and finish you off. See what's happening between Russia and Ukraine. The Russians became afraid they're so huge that this little Ukraine, it's not so little, it's a very big country with around 50 million people, is a threat. If they'll join NATO, it will be a serious threat to Russia. And that's why they started this war, which cost maybe between 2 to 3 million dead and wounded to some estimations I heard. And they don't say it's very sick, the whole situation. Insane. What can we do? Okay. Okay, folks. Focus on the divine beloved. Don't judge everybody. Leave everything to him. Don't worry, be happy. Stop complaining non-stop. I sometimes receive your comments on the Facebook. I'm not after everybody. I'm here and there. I'm saying to people, you are responsible. They don't understand. I told a few people, your complaints are no more but reflections of your past wrongdoings. Don't understand what I'm saying? From where I understood it, because Islam has taught me that I'm responsible for everything. That was one of my first tutorials. But then in the beginning, I didn't understand. But if you don't understand, as Baba said, don't do anything. Just focus on me. Then you will make it. If you keep on judging, each time you judge somebody, you set his skull. All the people who constantly abuse and attack, let's say you're the president of the United States or other politicians on earth, when you attack them, you set the scars. That's what happens. If you don't understand it, it's too bad. And again, don't do anything. Don't get involved. Thank you and good luck.